du hast ein
Entschuldigung, kannst du das wiederholen vorher?
Nein, das werde ich jetzt nicht wiederholen. Ich würde nur einfach sagen, Guillaume, du hast einen wunderbar theatralen Auftritt hingelegt. Das war nicht geplant. Das kann man nicht planen, das muss man so machen. Guillaume, ich frage dich als Kurator, als einer der beiden Kuratoren dieser Ausstellung Nature on Off oder Nature on Off, als allererstes zu einer Aussage, die ihr beiden, Rambaud, der andere Kurator, vorangestellt hattet. Ihr habt gesagt in einem kleinen Text zu dieser Ausstellung, dass der Anthropologe Philippe Descola behauptet, es gäbe so etwas wie Natur nicht. Und dass dies eigentlich eine Interpretation einer auf den Kopf gestellten Welt sei. Also wäre jetzt die Fragestellung in einer lebendigen, jedoch nicht menschlichen Welt, ob die Interpretation also so richtig ist. Ist diese Welt, in der etwas wie Natur nicht gäbe, es eine zwar lebendige, aber nicht menschliche Welt ist? Und ist diese belebte Welt also unmenschlich in dem Sinne von gewalttätig oder übermächtig? Oder meint dieses Nichtmenschliche, dass die Bereiche der Natur betrachtet werden sollen, aus denen sich der Mensch heraushält oder wo der Mensch herausgehalten wird? Ich hoffe, du hast ein bisschen diese Frage verstanden.
Das war sehr kompliziert. Keiner hat verstanden.
Leider nicht, leider nicht. Also gehst du jetzt einfach erstmal auf diese Aussage dieses Anthropologen Philippe Descola eingehen, es gäbe so etwas wie Natur nicht. Was meint er?
Was meint er?
Ja.
Philippe Descola.
You prefer in English or in Französisch?
Yes, I prefer in English. So we were inspired by Philippe Descola because as anthropologist as well as other, he is interested in the nature and how the human beings are part of this nature, but in a certain equality of other animals, any kind of plants and minerals. The nature doesn't exist in this way that it's something that the human being invented.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not. It's part of the we are in one unity.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
Effekt.
One moment, please. Voice over aus.
Ton ausschalten.
Die Technik.
Yes, so all the artists are in different ways question this issue of nature, but how we position ourselves as human beings, part of the living world. Let's say.
So in that sense, nature is consists of all beings, plants, animals, human beings, bacteria, fungi, and something like that. And so they're on equal level. It is not that the man with his majority of influence, that he did many things against the other parts.
Yeah, one major key aspect of how we curated the show and what we are inspired in is the notion of Anthropocene, which is how the human beings is transforming the living world around him in such a way that he reaches the geological strengths such as volcanic activities, erosion. So the human being transform in such a way that is as powerful as those strengths to the point where that is destroying the planet on which we live. So we feel in different artworks this idea. We have, for instance, in front of us, Marion Richaume, this column made of ceramic, partly, let's say, inspired from Greek columns, but at the same time, we see a certain idea of layers, of aspects of nature's fossils of animals or plants, that brings partly what we wanted to say. Behind the spectator, we have, for example, Villars-et-Brossard, these sculptures that evokes a plant, a flower, but at the same time is very science fictional in the treatment of the material, the color, and many artists like to use recycled or trash material that they collect, which is the case of Villars-et-Brossard,
and which is the case of your art,
which is the case of my work. So, for instance, is in this idea of Anthropocene, which is geological theory that says also that we were turning to a new era of a geological era, the era of human, and in this kind of theory we need to find also some witnesses, geological witnesses of that could confirm such a theory. And there's one witness that has been found in 2012. It's a new kind of rock, what we call the plastiglomerate. So the plastiglomerate says a little bit in its name what it could be. So it's sedimentary rocks made partly of plastic plastic particles or plastic object or that is aggregated with organic and mineral particles. Yes. And this has been discovered in the island of Hawaii, in the United States. So we can just quickly imagine ourselves that there's many trash of plastic going into the sea, flowing to some islands, some beach, and reaching, for example, Hawaii, and with volcano activities, with the heat, the heat that goes till
in the water, yeah.
Yes. So you have the plastic that is melt and just stick together to make some hybrid rocks, partly natural but partly anthropic, so partly due to human being activity. So it's a bit what I present with this relief behind the audience, kind of a surface of mixture of melted plastic with rocks, with some bones, making kind of half a painting, half a relief sculptural object.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, concerning these main theme that you introduced here now, can you tell us about your curational process? More, how did you elaborate this with your partner Romain?
Yes, it's a question that I like to answer. Because with Romain Rambaud, we did many curatorship together.
Mm-hmm.
Since we finished our studies, we were living in the city of Nantes, and we started some project between some exchange project between Germany and France, and we started like this. And when we do some curatorship, we in our case as artists, we in our career development, let's say, we needed to master a bit where we wanted to go, and that means also developing some curatorship in a way so we can also present our own research as artists. So in most of the curatorship we do, we are thinking of how can we tackle a thematic or an issue that is linked to our own research. And Romain and I were very close friend and also artists, so we discuss a lot. Our body of work also reaches in different aesthetic way or approach, but it reaches some of the same issues. So in that sense, we said yes. Let's see in our network who could fit in those in the issue we're thinking of and we're developing. So this is why we gather those artists. Yeah, some artists we present or we work with them quite often.
Okay.
And at the same time we keep our eyes open to develop and to find some new artists which we could be interested to work with and present their work, which is the case of Villard et Brossard.
Okay.
One of the and also Jean-Baptiste Janisset on that wall. So yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to introduce Gözde Yu. She's one of our newer artists of EULENGASSE, and she participated last year in October. She participated Platforms Project, Independent Art Fair in Athens, and there you learned to know Guillaume, who also was there at the art fair, and that's how all began. With Bar and EULENGASSE.
Yeah, and then we decided to have collaboration together, and we are really happy to do it.
Yes.
Now, and I have also a question. You explained lots of things about your topic and about your curatorial concern. And additionally, I would like to ask that what was the outcome from this topic exactly? I mean, did you learn something in the course of dealing with the topic? And then, I mean, dimension of which was not clear to you before, and therefore maybe it surprised you with the theme. Yeah, because you already explained lots of new information that we hadn't think before it. But now, and what was it for you?
Actually, the issue of Anthropocene, for example, one of the spine of our curatorship, it's something that we think a lot. So when we curate a show, in that sense, we try to with some of the works, some new artists, to just to get into another point of view of how we can present or develop this thematic to give a richness, let's say, and basically also of course there is the idea of how we manage the space. So the space is always different depending where we exhibit. So we select also the art pieces in that sense, and at the same time we're the kind of artists who like to we're basically sculptor, and but of course they're attracted in any kind of mediums, techniques in visual art, and we do appreciate exhibition that is mixing many of these techniques. So sculpture, photography, drawings, painting, can be performance as well, and also yes.
Yeah, it's
Yes. Dealing with the format. I didn't mention, for example, Régis Perret with some small flowers here and there, not hidden but subtle in the space, and comparing with some bigger artwork, some where we dynamize the hanging in a way that we stay dynamic, and we appreciate some non-linear hanging.
They are really
and that's why your process of dealing with the space is started in the preparation. We sent you many information of our rooms. We split this exhibition into two art spaces, EULENGASSE and Ausstellungsraum EULENGASSE. And so these two art spaces are very different from dimensions and also from setting in the neighborhoods, also with their
it's also effect.
Yes, yes, yes. And regarding this, when we decide to do some meeting, some Zoom meeting, in order to develop a bit this issue of presenting into venues. So in that sense, we as we considered that the public were different in both venues because of the distance, mainly the distance and where they are situated in the city. So we decided to present one work of each in both venues. Yes, yes, yes. And in this venue, in this space, we of course we have a first idea of how it can be presented, and we knew that the piece from Marion Richomme, the column from Marion Richomme and Villard et Boissard were going to be the spine of the hanging. So we need to position them properly in a way and to organize the rest of the hanging. Yes, we've also decided in the selection here to have to reach also certain harmony of color with the pink beige, the lilas, the purple, and just to give also an atmosphere to what we wanted to present. So and finally Régis with the small flowers, the flowers of apocalypse, could be integrated very easily and finish the hanging.
Yeah. Well, let's go to another theme of our questionnaire here, concerning much more how this exhibition is put into our times now in our contemporary environment. What relevance does this exhibition for you have for today in the local art context? And do you see that this exhibition is a useful complement for the work of more museum-like institutions?
Yes, yes. You mean in terms of concept or
concept and execution, like you did?
Yes, yes, definitely, definitely. That's true, and it's to me it's totally positive that many curators or museum director are also interested in this issue of Anthropocene. So we're not at the first exhibition dealing this issue, and for me it's also very important. There are many artists who are concerned about ecological issues, and they develop also a research in that sense, some methodology of work as well.
And it's today issues.
It's
very alive.
Yes, it's an issue of today, and also presenting an exhibition here at EULENGASSE in the best condition possible, in the best way possible, the more professional as possible. Also, we can also attract some directors interested by the issue who could discover also some new artists. So it's very positive in many sense.
Okay, and now I want to turn the topic a little bit your artist-run space, because we met in Athens, and at that time I was represented by EULENGASSE and Guillaume was represented BAR, and I would like to ask something about BAR.
Yeah.
And can you explain us how does it work, and what is the dynamics of BAR, and what is your focus and about your process?
Yes. So that's true that we met at the Platforms project, the art fair specialized in non-profit entities, so non-profit galleries, art collectives, so those kinds of entities. So the BAR, le Bureau d'Art et de Recherche, or the Office of Art and Research in English, is a non-profit gallery that started in 1999, founded by Eric Rigolo, its actual president, and some other colleagues of him. And mostly our gallery is want to, let's say, catch the curiosity of different kinds of public. Of course, contemporary art public, specialized, but we have in our, let's say, our mission, we aim to develop some new public, to attract some new public into the visual art scene. So this is one aspect. We do also focus on presenting, let's say, young artists to mid-career artists. And in terms of exhibitions, we prefer, we mostly do some group shows, because we consider that group shows allows our non-profit gallery space to develop, to better develop the public, to increase its public through the synergy of other artist networks. So we basically, the idea is to combine our strength to also to develop the public of the gallery space. So which is less the case with solo shows. Solo shows very interesting for artists. It's a very interesting challenge, and at the same time, we need also to be strategic and work with our human resources that we have. So it's important to gather the different strength of what's around us. So this is an aspect. Another aspect is that we are also close to let's say some street art or urban art, let's say. So that doesn't only means graffiti, but more urban art, generally speaking. So we take part of some urban art festival, and there's some graffiti artist or street art artists surrounding the bar activity, so they are many times invited, and we work inside the gallery but also outside, doing big wall paintings, especially in the city of Roubaix. And we do also some guided tour to some public, in the city, to make them discover the scene. So this is regarding a bit my position in this non-profit gallery, is I'm mostly focusing the international development of the gallery. So developing the international networks. This is why it was when we met the third time we participated to Platforms project, which is a very interesting art fair for networking, and through this development and the project we're doing now, we're achieving the first phase. It's part of this development. So we're trying to extend our network and make some exchange in Belgium, in Switzerland as well. We of course keep working with Germany.
And that point I understand that, as you said that, and this is the gallery, that non-profit gallery, that it's not isolated by public and the city. It's not just a white cube, that it's always inner interaction with the public and the city.
Yes.
Yeah, and with that point, and how is art scene in Roubaix? Because as we know, bar located in Roubaix, and maybe you could tell us about Roubaix art scene as well.
Yes. To develop a bit about Roubaix, it's important to develop a bit about the Lille Metropole. So the Lille Metropole is the third or the fourth biggest agglomeration in France. So it's situated at the Belgian border, and the metropole of Lille concentrate of course Lille itself, but some other cities who developed themselves mostly in the revolution, the industrial revolution, so in the 19th century. So Roubaix is a part of it, as well as Tourcoing, two cities of 100,000 people, and cities like Roubaix was bigger at a certain time in terms of habitant than Lille, and years after years they grew up and they merge into a bigger city, well, a metropole. So compared to other cities or metropole where I live, for example Nantes, where Romain Rambaud still lives, this is a very centralized city culturally. Lille is decentralized, so there are good museums, a non-profit gallery, not only downtown Lille, but also in the surrounding cities, part of the metropole, of course accessible with public transport. So it's for example the Lame in Villeneuve d'Ascq, and of course in Roubaix we have the museum La Piscine, the swimming pool, which is a very beautiful Art Deco swimming pool that has been converted to a museum in the, if if I'm not wrong, in the 90s. In Tourcoing we have also an interesting museum, very active. L'école des Beaux-Arts is based in Tourcoing, where I also teach as a sculpture professor. So we have many places surrounding Lille and Lille itself that makes that dynamize the old metropole, not only the downtown Lille. Yeah. So Roubaix, what is quite interesting for artists, and it's the dynamic. There's historical fact that Roubaix was textile industry city, and was very rich. And at a certain time in the 60s, the textile industry collapsed slowly, 70s and the 80s. So this richness, we moved to almost the opposite, and then the city needed and had to let's say to rebuild, to get some new inputs and energy. And the artists are partly one of this. Some artists, let's say, decided to settle there and live there because of the vacant industries. Also the rent for the apartment that were relatively cheap, and so it attracted artists, and also there were some cultural politics with let's say fabrics, cultural fabrics and fab labs such as La Condition Publique, who is also part of this dynamic. And also there's another aspect of the city that is developing a lot. It's culturally partly, not necessarily artistic specifically, but we are developing a lot the issue of zero waste. So the way we transform, and this also attracts and give a new impulse to the city, and because of that, some artists come and decide to have their atelier in Roubaix.
Okay. Yeah, I think now it's the time to introduce Janine Conrad to our interview here. Yeah, this is the place. This is Janine, you are coming from Switzerland, born in Switzerland, in a special part of Switzerland, in Graubünden, in I don't know how it is called in English. But it's in the eastern part of Switzerland with a special language that they speak, that you speak also.
No, I don't actually. I do understand it, but if there is a professional, it's my girlfriend, it's Queen, and she's talking Romanish. Yeah, because we have 4 languages in Switzerland that we speak there, so it's Italian, German, French, and Rätoromanisch. But how it is, the point is, Switzerland, we have a lot of mountains in this area I come from, and in each valley they really developed an own dialect. So So we have exactly 3 big differences in the retromanche as well, but 4, 5. As you see, it's quite, so it's quite, but in general you can understand it that there is the retromanche language. It's quite a language for itself. Maybe it's near to Latin, maybe you could say that. And because we live next or near to Italy, it's mixed up with Italian. So this influences here. So
what I want to ask to you, starting here, is about concerning what we spoke here. We have been spoken here. Do you see some? Because Guillaume said about what is non-profit art scene, and now concerning the art scene in total, do you see there's an internationalization of art scene, or is there many differences in local scenes, attitudes, and something like that?
Well, I'm not sure I really understand the question, but I think it's both. One hand, of course, every area is orientated to the big world. It's written in English and stuff like that, you know. But of course, they figure out that how it happened or something has happened. It's different in, let's say, in the Alps than maybe here in Frankfurt. And they get sensitive, or they are sensitive to keep maybe these things that are really typical for there. So I think it's a mix-up. It's difficult to really give an answer of this.
Giving this question to Guillaume.
Just have to also go in the sense of Janine. So it's both. It's both. Let's say, I think, more generally speaking, the non-profit art scene, which is mostly, let's say, they are oriented regionally and nationally, and some through networking, they cross borders, and they appreciate to develop some exchange, and we do so. Personally, I'm part of this development of the non-profit scene.
Yeah, I ask you also because you have been born in Montreal, Canada, and you studied in Nantes and in Germany, so you have experiences from different continents and countries. So.
Yeah. Yes. It's of course it's a way, obviously, to develop, to open our mind and meet some new people. So to be open, and Europe gives us this opportunity also to travel and to meet in an easier way than it could be in. Other countries not part of the European Union, and it's also a way, because when I step back, when I was a young artist who was I was, let's say, very young at the start of my career as young artist. artist in around 2004. We needed to find also some solution to exhibit and to present our work. So I remember back in the past we were discussing and we were saying something like, do we wait for some big curators to call us, or we start developing our own project abroad to be sure that we develop the way where we want to be, where we want to go. So it was important for you a bit to master this. So this is why we because of exchange, it started with exchange student program. I studied in Leipzig, in Berlin, and I moved from Montreal, where I started my studies, to Nantes. So it was a way also to slowly set a network of social networks. It's not necessarily professional at the beginning. It's a normal friend social network, and then it becomes slowly more professional, and then we move on doing projects and proposing our ideas to other galleries and entities, whether they are non-profit or public or private.
But I think that's a big point, even for EULENGASSE, you know. People speak with each other, they have a meeting about stuff, and I don't know how is it here, or maybe also in Lille or Roubaix, but in Switzerland, let's say during the 2000 years, the change, it was really, I did school then, so it was really a sporty attitude. It was like everybody for himself, just work and wait that big chance is coming and ready for it, you know, this maybe some of you know this attitude, so yeah, but it was also a little bit to realize that maybe in the 80s, let's say, artists talked more with each other, there was more movement, you know, not collective singular thing, you know, experiences. Yeah, because of that, I think it's really important and a good thing to just organize yourself in a way, or find out other ways, because if we don't do that, then we give let's say all the in a way the power to experts, you know. Experts, they never did do art, they just studied, it's not bad, but just studied something else, you know. And there is every time they decide, these guys then decide what we have to do, or if we can do something, or if we win or get something. And that gets really annoying.
It creates a kind of authority that we just follow them, or they need to follow us.
Yeah, for example, I'm, you know, there is a Künstler group Winterthur. Okay, it's not in this area we talked before, but it's near, it's around surrounding from Zurich. And for example, this is by traditional organized with the Kunstverein Winterthur. And they have an annual exhibition, and of course there's every time a big question, okay, who is getting in, because there is jury, you know, but nobody from the association will be in this jury, because nobody will be the asshole that's, you know. Of course they're looking for somebody else. Of course, they're looking for doctor, whatever, or you know, these big art guys, and they give away all the influence they have. And in a way, I can understand that. In another way, I think it's wrong. And it's also wrong that we look, like in Switzerland, maybe more than in Germany. In Germany, they have a little bit, in the school, maybe they are really rough. They say, oh, that's bad, but they have a discussion. In Switzerland, it's every time like, oh yeah, it's nice, it's like that, you know, and nobody speaks something or says something. And we lose a little bit do that, to handle, to have a discussion about something, criticize, but in a good way. And in this way, we also lose a little bit to use influence or be a society in a way, an artist society. And I think because of that, I think that's important to do something like EULENGASSE or Guillaume is doing to get a piece back. And that has nothing to do that how much you sell in the gallery, you know. So that's something else, something extra. Because we also artists, we want to live in a way a part of being artists. It's not only, you know, to be an artist and just do what galleries want to have.
No. A propos galleries, you have a question to
just regarding what you said, this is just the right time to ask this. And the first day that you were here for the setting exhibition and you were strolling around Frankfurt and you have visited lots of galleries and you have kind of impression about Frankfurt art scene. At that point you spend your time here, so you got some impression about the Frankfurt art scene. And yesterday we were at the dinner and we little bit mentioned about this. Maybe I thought that would be nice to share your opinion with the audiences here.
Okay, yeah, we talked about that. Okay, that is a little bit specific because Switzerland has a little bit this, you know, there is a lot of money, public money as well, of course. Even normal people have to pay a lot for small things as well, but okay. But let's say, for example, main stations, there is a bigger main station that it is really necessary. For example, in Pool, where I come from. And of course, if I come to Germany and then maybe I was in Documenta, I stopped in Kassel, I think, okay, well, it looks like, because of the public building, it looks like a place that, well, 30,000 people or something. Because that would be the relation in Switzerland, you know. So, and this was a little bit the same with the galleries. We have a lot of galleries, for example, in Zurich, they are really rich, really snobbish in a way. And they don't really work as a gallery that we really understand in a normal way. How can I explain that? There are some rich people, they are bored, and they are doing galleries. And they don't need to sell something. It's about
hobby.
Not a hobby. They do that because they want to have more respect. It's a social thing, prestige. It's about that. And we have more galleries like that in Zurich, for example. And if I really look on a gallery, I have a little bit of picture about a motor, you know. It's not like a motor from a car that is running. You get something up, you give some gas and it works, and then something comes out, and apart from the output, you can get, you know, it's like that. But it's not, because money doesn't care. It's just to have the big show. And because of that, for example, in the art school in Zurich, we have really young artists. They are really clever. You know, they know that, and they don't show. They never would show art pieces here because that's much too less. You know, they wait and they have the same attitude, this snobbish attitude, and of course, because they have that, they really get in this kind of galleries. The only problem is. If, let's say, the gallerist is bored about the whole art scene, then of course he stops. And then if you are maybe, I don't know, middle-aged, then you lose your job in a way. Yeah, so, and I find out that, or for me, I have a little bit of feeling that here in Germany, or let's say in Frankfurt, these galleries, they are in a way really worker, you know, they work hard for having a gallery, and that's in a way also really sympathetic. So we talked about that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the short form to explain.
I haven't been to the rich people, I guess.
I would like
to
also
the rich people.
Yeah, it's mixed up anyway.
And I would like to ask the question also, Guillaume, and how did you find Frankfurt art scene regarding your exhibition? because you were also spending lots of time here.
Yes. I think we manage well, but you know, it would be too pretentious to say I know the art scene here. I saw something, you know. I visited some ateliers. I know a few artists. I visited some different venues. Okay, but to me it was more a discovery because it's the first time I present here. So it was the first time I came here and went to see, so visit the city and work. So to me, I considered it as a discovery. So I can't say that I know the art scene.
Sure. Yeah, it's like first impression.
Yeah, it's a first impression, and you know, for example, I met Daniel and Florian just yesterday, and just having some 2 hours discussion in the atelier. It helps me to discover a bit more the scene. But there's probably many things to discover.
Yeah.
But what I can say is that maybe in comparison with France, France is a very centralized country. Everything is centralized in Paris, it's historical, and comparing to Germany, which has a decentralized history, we feel that there are more stronger cultural poles, not only in Berlin, but you know, in the old art market in many cities, and in France, mostly everything is concentrated in Paris, and the other cities, Lyon is also, but the other cities like Nantes, Lille, Marseille, we need to struggle a bit to develop our scene and to be yes.
Yeah, I totally understand. Not so country has this problem usually.
Yeah.
I'd like to. We had prepared 8 questions for you, but I'd like to jump to last question now. So we have 7, and there will be some more space for the public to ask also some questions if you have. But I'd like to, for the end, I'd like to know how you would define success for an artist.
As curator.
I can answer something, and maybe next year I will change my mind. For instance, it's important to be happy. It's a bit cliche, but it's important to feel that we feel great and we feel stimulated for what we do. So it's important, it's important, I think, for me to give me some challenge and try to reach it. In the same way, when I do when I'm riding my race bicycle and I climb a hill, it's important to reach, the top of the hill and have a view. So I have a view of what I accomplished. So it's important to build step by step where we want to be, and to bring the satisfaction. So probably to me being successful is accomplishing the challenge I have in mind, what I want to exhibit, for example, or a piece of work that I want to achieve, or a corpus of body of work, and at the same time, when I look at me in the mirror in the morning, I need to feel that I do it in a good way. So this is why maybe
yeah, a lot of things maybe are the same. So maybe a little bit more generally speaking, I think to be an artist is maybe not only a job or something that we do. Maybe it's also a little bit kind of a lifestyle or a philosophic part. And if somebody is able to live this so far or so big he wanted to do it, then I think that's a success. You know, it's if somebody is happy to I don't know, travel through the world and doing work for galleries or doing his own work, but maybe there's also a prisoner in his work in a way, you know. So maybe he's also not happy. So I don't know, it's maybe, but to live, whatever that means, to live or to be an artist and live this in a way, maybe this is a kind of success. Mm-hmm. How far or how big the part is, that's a question. So I have this question for myself actually because I was also a teacher at the art school Zurich, and I changed. I'm doing now teaching in a gymnasium, and then there was the question, okay, I could maybe do only my artwork, but only a part of my work maybe is good for selling, you know, and shall I take the risk and do this? And I could say in this case, okay, I just live by doing my artwork, okay? Mm-hmm. Or is it maybe more comfortable, more easy, or more, or maybe there's more freedom to just choose to doing teaching one day? I don't know. So it's, you know, the situations are really different. I think how life is different. Every artist has his own situation, but maybe to live a little bit apart to being an artist, maybe that's a success.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. And when I was at university, I was always thinking that, when I be artist, I want to be very famous and everybody remember me. But now I really don't care being famous, because the only thing that, as long as you contribute cultural scene, this is the important things. I mean, as long as you contribute cultural art, I mean, this is the important things, and only the satisfaction for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there are also some good examples here in Frankfurt. Emily Montes, for example. I think he was an artist, so he's more an organizer or famous bar person. But maybe this is the part he want to live his life, so why not? So,
yeah.
And I think in general, to live the life a little bit in another way, I think that's a good thing, that's appreciated. Because we have a lot of organized things, and in our life, life has to go on like this and this. There are so many rules, and if you have a chance to break the rules or go a little bit around, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. Okay, I would like to thank you,
Guillaume Krick and also Jenny Conrad for this conversation here. And now I think we would open this to the public if there's some new aspects, questions, which we have. Starting here in front of
You were talking about very much about non-profit galleries. I don't know how you are financing all your travels and the exhibition you are doing with international artists you just discover. How do you do that?
Didn't you see the logo markers here? The battery of logos here that finance that exhibition.
So you are doing a lot of marketing for that. I was thinking about Nantes, for instance.
Yes.
Nantes is a city which very much is working with artists, with free artists, just to change the image of the town.
Yes.
And maybe somebody like Jean Blaise in Nantes, there is a person who is sustaining a lot of these artists. Do you know that is necessary? Do you think it's necessary?
It's necessary to...
Did you profit from Jean Blaise and with all his actions in Nantes?
For the moment, not at all.
Not at all, okay.
I will explain you why. Because that's true that the city of Nantes uses culture to develop the image of the city, to develop its tourism, and Jean Blaise, who is an important guy who started the L'Unique, which is a national scene combining an exhibition place, theater, dance, so very nice venue in all the Lu bakery, the famous biscuit Lu. He also developed in 2007 a biennale of the estuary, so between Nantes and Saint-Nazaire, which is the port at the end of the Loire River. And so he developed 3 editions of this, and then with the city of Nantes, he moved on with another event every summer. And let's say there's always this issue that, which is the case of Nantes, but maybe in some other cities as well. They want to invite international artists because they think that the local are maybe less good, or they're not so relevant, or they're not as well known. So I can be witness of a very dynamic art scene in Nantes, but they don't have their chance to participate, to be part of this this event, which is to me very bad, because it could be a way to, on the contrary, to make to present and to show off the scene. So I'm always interested in this balance, a good mix of being to look on the local scene, and also inviting some other artists. But it's not very the case of Jean Blaise.
But concerning the first question of Petra, how do you manage to finance the project?
Yes, which is also an interesting question, because
you have to be a marketing manager of yourself.
Yes.
In a way, no?
So this question brings me back to the time I started as artist in 2004, 2006, and in the non-profit space, we can apply for subsidies, you know, to get some funding for a project, and many artists can ask, you know, the same entity or the same application form. So there's a very simple issue of concurrency. You know, if there are many people who apply to the same place, to the same application form, with a certain amount of money that can be distributed. So there's a certain offer, let's say, but too many people apply. So in our way of thinking, we said, okay, let's apply to some places where not all the artists would apply. So this is why we started also, this was a way for us to start doing some project abroad, because we could apply, for example, the French Institute that held in the same way that the Künstler Institute, the Goethe Institute does for international project. And when we exhibited abroad, we asked also the embassies, the cultural service of different embassies, like we did once when we exhibited in Switzerland, for example. So also one of our public sponsor, it's a combination from the French Institute, l'Institut Français, and la Région de France. Lille is the capital of the whole of France. So they have kind of a convention. So we apply to those application form to get subsidies for an international project.
That's the same for Switzerland, or are there more foundations? I don't know, Helvetica Foundation.
Yeah, there are more foundations. Let's say every even smaller city have some small foundations. It's like that. But on the other hand, it can happen, or it happens often that, let's say, the cousin of the politician, whatever, you know, is doing some theater, and of course she or he gets fundings, and because of that, he likes or she likes to do that, and then she's doing that 20 or 30 or whatever, many years. So, and there is not so many movements that could be also like that. But yeah, there is more public money. There is, yeah, for that that's okay. But it's a little bit the same problem we talked before, because the question is who is giving this? And often, you know, the juries are maybe just politicians. Maybe there is one, let's say, maybe a gallerist. Of course, he is giving chances to his own artists. It's quite difficult. Yeah, we have, for example, situations that there was a, let's say, because there was a hospital at Lippeweb for doing the outside, you know, and they had some rules. Okay, they do one round, everybody can apply, that is an artist, you know, and then there is a second round, so we choose 8 of them, and then there's a second round, and somebody of these will win this. And in the jury was only the only art-knowing person was the head of the Kunstmuseum. The others are doctors or whatever. And then there was the first round, and they choose some pieces, some works. And the director from the Kunstmuseum, he was not happy with this choice. So he decided to bring 2 other positions in after the first round, and of course these 2 positions won the prize. And that's happened not once, that happens 3 or 4 times. And the problem is, some of the public people, they understand that. Not everybody realizes that, of course, but some they do. And of course they say, yeah, this artist, that's it, you know. And so the artist paying the price for that the director is doing stuff like that.
Okay, and we have another question by Daniel.
Yeah, when it came to the point of what is success for an artist, Janine, you said one aspect could be to live a little in the past. I don't know if I understood that right. How did you mean this?
Sorry, once again.
You said, if I remember right, an aspect of success for artists could be to live a little in the past.
No, I don't say that. I just mean no.
Part of.
Oh, sorry, misunderstand. Okay.
No, just mean to yeah. How can I say? To just live a life that you think an artist should live. You know, or this. The point was just to say that being an artist is not only working; it's also to have maybe a little bit of a life, whatever that means. And I want to give a credo for to be engaged or to say, yeah, please try to live a little bit of a life, because today's we have so many, let's say in a way, boring lives, you know, systems of life. So I really there's an appel for it to say, yeah, everything you do maybe a little bit another way, or maybe you find out a small Abkürzung or whatever, you know, just do it.
More individual.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was another question by Vladimir.
Ja, ich werde das auf Deutsch formulieren, falls notwendig, übersetzest du bitte. Seit einer Zeit versuchen wir uns anzuschließen in eine Gedanke, die wir durch die Erfahrung, die wir in Stockholm durch die Supermarket Art Fair uns angeschlossen haben, den Gedanke, dass die Ökonomie der Kunst, der freien Szene, eine sehr wichtige Ökonomie in der Gesellschaft ist. Vielleicht die 3. Säule in der Gesellschaft. Und das schließt uns ein, weil wir meinen, dass es auch nicht nur wir sind nicht nur bereit, nur auf diese Hilfestellung uns zu stellen. Also bitte Hilfe diese Stelle, bitte Hilfe dieses Projekt, bitte Hilfe. Das irgendwann ist uns zu viel. Und wir sehen, dass wir eine wichtige Stellung der Gesellschaft haben, als Künstler, als Produzentengalerie, als Kuratoren. Und dass wir anschließend uns politisch, dass wir eine politische Repräsentation schaffen. Nächste Woche kommt die Alice hier aus Stockholm. Wir werden in 2 Wochen eine Networking-Treffen machen. In 3 Wochen gibt es eine Networking-Treffen in Berlin. Ich wollte fragen, wie sind die Bewusstsein für diese Faktor in Frankreich oder in der Schweiz? Gibt es schon ein Bewusstsein? Wächst schon das ein bisschen da? Hast du verstanden?
Ein Bewusstsein von was? Von einer politischen
Repräsentation der Künstler in der Gesellschaft, damit wir eine Stellung kriegen, eine Finanzierungsrealität bekommen, die nicht nur auf diese Hilfestellung bleibt. Habe ich formuliert richtig?
I think I get your question, and on my side I quite know about where I lived many years, so the region of Nantes, Pays de la Loire, and Hauts-de-France, Lille. And since more than a decade, we discussed a lot with the politics, the cultural politics, in order to develop and to improve the sector, let's say, the cultural sector, and let's say visual art, because we're also in theater, but let's say in visual art. And for example, I know that the Pays de la Loire region, as well as Hauts-de-France, they hired an audit firm to collect data and to question artists and about their situation, about their economic context, how do they live, the network in the region, and those information, you know, they did some analyze, and we discussed also, we exchanged argument, and this permit to develop some new, that it seems to be very simple, and it should have been done many years before, but you know, to be sure that when there's a work that is done through a project like this one, we can consider properly in our budget the fact that the artist can be paid to present, okay, which this should be obvious, but wasn't the case 15 years ago. It was more than a struggle, and before we needed to be happy to present and to exhibit somewhere. But now, because of this discussion, it changes. For example, in Hauts-de-France, there's also some discussion that brought or that increased the exchange, cultural exchange at the border with Belgium, for example. There's a few aspects like this that are improvement through discussion between politics and artists themselves, entities who give their opinion about the situation, and it helps to also to have a stronger scene, and also a better ecosystem.
Better ecosystem, cultural system, ja.
Okay.
Ich wollte etwas sagen.
Ja, weil die Frage auf Deutsch gestellt wurde, gebe ich auf Deutsch Antwort, weil das ist eine schwierige Frage. Ist, glaube ich, ganz stark abhängig von den Leuten, die da sitzen und was zu entscheiden haben, und sehr unterschiedlich deswegen. Ich glaube aber auch, dass es teilweise auch an uns Künstlern und Künstlerinnen liegt, da wir ja auch nicht unbedingt so die sind, die uns einfach gerade öffnen, die auch nicht immer gerade ein kritisches Gespräch suchen. Und ich glaube, wenn da ein bisschen mehr Wille wäre, zusammenzustehen oder vielleicht auch etwas in den Pool reinzugeben, ohne gerade zu wissen, dass man auch was rausnehmen kann, ich sag's mal so, dann wäre auch ein bisschen mehr möglich und eine andere Haltung da. Ein anderer Punkt, was ich jetzt in der Schweiz, was da ein bisschen gibt, ist, es gibt ja diese öffentlichen Geld, da gibt es auch eigentlich anständig Geld für was zu machen. Es ist so ein bisschen so, die Entwicklung ist, dass quasi andere, sagen wir mal so, andere Domäne das auch entdeckt haben. Also so zum Beispiel gibt es sehr viele Studentinnen und Studenten, Abgänger von so wie sagt man so, ja, Kulturmanagement-Kursen oder sowas, die eigentlich nicht künstlerisch tätig sind, die auch nicht Designer sind, sondern die einfach gerne Events managen und das natürlich sehr gut machen, weil sie wurden ja auch ausgebildet in diesem Bereich und die krallen sich dann solche Gelder, weil sie natürlich die Dossiers viel besser machen können, auch wissen, dass man jetzt halt heutzutage das sehr gendergerecht schreiben muss und sollte und wie auch immer, also bekommen verschiedene Aspekte zusammen und dann ist es schon ein bisschen so, dass ich so ein bisschen, ja, ich würde mal sagen, halt die Künstler, die bleiben dann so ein bisschen, Künstlerinnen, die bleiben so ein bisschen neben der Spur, weil sie sich einerseits jetzt in der Schweiz nicht so organisieren können, obwohl die Organisationen da sind, lustigerweise. Und die Gelder, die werden dann halt nicht für die Kunstausstellung gesprochen, sondern für das Food Festival, wo man dann verschiedene Food Trucks hat und sich fragen kann, ja, warum muss man da kulturelle Gelder sprechen? Und das geht so ein bisschen in die Richtung. Also
so, das Geld geht verloren von der Kunst sozusagen, ja. Weil die anderen schlauer sind.
Ja,
für jedermann.
Genau, das Motto ist, es ist gerade aktuell, ich bin da in Chur, da geht es darum, dass es eigentlich eine gute Sache ist, Proberäume zu schaffen, weil Chur so gut wie keine Industrie hat. Chur ist die Hauptstadt vom Kanton Graubünden, also wo St. Moritz, Davos, so die Gegend, also reiche Gegend, aber wirklich so in den Alpen. Chur selber ist halt der Hauptort, der Verwaltungsort, hat aber keine Industrie. Also deswegen haben die Künstler vor Ort so gut wie fast keine Chance, ein Atelier zu mieten, weil das einfach nicht bezahlbar ist. Deswegen kann man das jetzt politisch so weit gebracht, dass man quasi Räume schaffen will. Aber jetzt ist das so natürlich nicht nur für Künstlerinnen und Künstler, sondern auch für Musiker, Probebühnen und so weiter. Und jetzt müssen wir politisch zum Beispiel gucken, dass das Stimmvolk das annimmt und wir haben die großen Diskussionen, vor allem meine Kolleginnen und Kollegen, die mit Musik und Theater zu tun haben, ja, nicht zu intellektuell, ja, nicht zu abgehoben, es muss doch für jedermann sein, ja, also das Wort entwickeln kannst du nicht bringen, das versteht nicht jeder, das ist wirklich grauenhaft und das ist das Komische daran, dass dann quasi so eine Verquickung passiert, das heißt ja, wenn man halt einen intellektuellen Anspruch an etwas hat, weil wir reflektieren ja Dinge irgendwo auch intellektuell, oder? Dann ist das irgendwie dann zu abgehoben, oder? Und wird gerade so auf die Seite des Museums geschoben, aber mit denen haben wir ja sowieso nichts zu tun, weil die Corona-Gelder sind alle an die Museen gegangen, die Künstler haben nichts gekriegt in der Gegend, da wo ich war. Und das ist ganz schwierig, also es ist wirklich so, durch das, dass jetzt quasi auch alles Kunst sein kann auch jeder als Künstlerin oder Künstler auftreten und jeder Event, auch wenn es dann irgendwie um Food Trucks geht, wo man vielleicht da die Spezialität von da und so essen kann, das wird dann quasi so als Kultur, Hochkultur gepriesen. Ganz schwierig im Moment. Also das ist so ein bisschen der Trend, der da so jetzt gerade einfach, den ich so erzählen kann.
Okay. Stichwort Aachen, Artist Run Network Europe. Guck mal da.
Nein, deswegen finde ich es eigentlich, das eben halt gut, auch so eine freie Szene, die halt dann Diskussionen führt, wie sie halt in einem Kursdiskurs geführt werden oder vielleicht auch mal ein bisschen anders, das muss ja nicht immer wie Frau oder Herr Doktor klingen, so. Aber doch halt mit einem Anspruch, dass es um einen intellektuellen Austausch oder Gedanken geht. Ich kann dazu eigentlich nur aufrufen, sich halt selber ein bisschen der Sache auszusetzen und halt auch bereit zu sein, etwas in den Pool reinzugeben, was auch immer das auch heißen mag, aber ohne dass man genau weiß, was man rausnimmt. Meine Erfahrung ist die, dass das immer eine tolle Sache ist und ich für mich immer was rausnehmen konnte und deswegen ist mir das auch wichtig, also über Landesgrenzen hinaus auch. Deswegen sitze ich wahrscheinlich heute auch da.
Ja, so ist es. Vielen Dank, Janine, für dieses, ich würde sagen, das ist ein super Schlusswort gewesen. Ich hoffe, dass auch ihr hier alle euch etwas habt rausnehmen können aus diesem Gespräch, aus dieser Ausstellung vor allen Dingen, die einfach das Baby von Romain Rambaud und Guillaume Krick ist. Herzlichen Dank auch dir für deine Teilnahme hier an dieser Runde. Thanks a lot. Merci beaucoup.